Here today with Brandon Alvarez of the Garrison Bulldogs. How you doing today, Coach?
Oh, great, man. Just thankful.
Now you've been dealing with some issues up there for aftermath of tornadoes. So talk a little bit about that, how that's impacted you, the team, the community.
Well, so I don't actually live in Garrison. I live in Timpson, and the tornado hit around Timpson. So Timpson didn't have school, and we did. And luckily, highway department cut us out because we had 8 trees down for my driveway, going south towards Timpson.
And so Garrison, small town, pretty much definition of small town Texas. Means all your athletes are playing multiple sports, participating in academic activities. I mean, doing everything at a school size as Garrison. So, tell us how things are progressing. What are you seeing in the spring you think makes you look good right now for the fall?
Well, this year this has been a special year. So I got here 3 years ago. This was my third season, and after the COVID and a change of coaches, we didn't have very many seniors come out. So my first year, we had 4 seniors come out for football, and because of that, we were forced to start a bunch of freshmen, and those freshmen are grown up now. And this last year we had 12 seniors on the team, and we only had one senior that was a starter at the end of the season. We had four that started off and on during the season, but only one finished the season as a starter, both ways, of course. So, that freshman group when we first got here, they're grown up now, and just going through this year. Obviously, this was our best record since I've been here, and we didn't go as far as the playoffs as we did that first year, but we saw a lot of growth in the kids, and in all the other sports as well. This year, it's actually on the third year Garrison's ever had powerlifting, and we won state in powerlifting this year. Only third year having a program, and part of that was football players. So Omarion Raspberry, who is our running back, he's a junior. He'll be a senior next year. He won state in the 181-pound weight class. He deadlifted 600 pounds, squatted 600 pounds, and he benched, I think, 385 or something like that. I can't really remember. And then, we got some other young kids. Gavin Pollard's a sophomore. Jabraylon Jones is a sophomore. Both those kids threw up impressive totals, and they're linemen for us and placed at the state meet. Avery Yarborough, he's a freshman running back of ours. He also placed third at the state meet. And we got more kids than that, but it was just one of those things where you could really see, like, when me and Coach Hicks got here, we really wanted to focus on strength, and because that first year, I know we were young, but we felt like we were getting pushed around, and we didn't want to get pushed around no more. And this year, everybody we played, they're like, "Man, Coach, y'all are just so strong." And that's kind of been the thing we want to hang our hat on, is being strong and physical. And we spent a lot of time on that. And now, hey, we're athletic too. Don't get me wrong. Warren at Raspberries running at the regional track meet today, and he placed fourth in the long jump, and he ran a 10.8.9 in the 100. So we got a lot of great things to look forward to, and then our baseball program's been rolling, and that's where most of our other football players are on the baseball team.
Now, when we were setting this call up a few minutes ago on the fly, you reached out and you said, "Help me promote this kid, and Marion Raspberry." Now, from my knowledge, there's more than this kid strong and fast to a coach being that passionate about the kids. Tell us about this young man.
Man, he is just like, I'll get emotional talking about the kid. He's just a great kid, and I keep hearing all these coaches saying he's the most underrated player in this area. They talk about Vosky and Terry over at Timpson. They talk about Jacoby at Beckville, and I mean, this is the Timpson and Beckville coaches saying it. Like, hey, people don't need to forget about Omarion. And Omarion had 1,200 yards rushing last year, and it's not that just that he's a great player. He's a great kid. Like, I honestly love that kid, and I love his family, and I always try to go wherever he is, and I try to video him. I send his mom and dad videos of him, and well, really just his mom, but I'll send her videos of him, and just he just comes from great people.
All right. Well, you've mentioned a couple of your key players, but give us a little more insight into what kind of team you think you're going to be. Obviously, you're going to try and be strong and stand up to people in the trenches, but it was look like it fall.
Well, so the key to our success is going to be our seniors next year and our senior leadership. And I keep talking about Omarion, but really Braden Davidson. And I really hate putting it all on one kid, but Braden Davidson is the backbone of the team. He is our quarterback and our middle linebacker. So he leads us on both sides of the ball. And his freshman year, week 6, we started him at quarterback. And I didn't want to start a freshman, but it was one of those things that was a need. And we went from 1-5 to 6-6 and went to the third round of the playoffs with Braden at quarterback. And he was also our free safety that year, and I think he had about 156 tackles. And then, he put on some weight. We were middle linebacker. And, he is what makes it go. I think he threw for about 1,200 yards last year. And, we're one of those teams that, power football kind of our thing. And we averaged about 8.6 yards a carry on the quarterback sneak. And it's one of those things that we feel we can do it on any down in the middle of the field. And we just want to prove to people sometimes that we're stronger than you, and we're about to dig you out of there, and you're in for a long night. And, there's going to be a lot of high expectations this year for our team. We finished 3rd in district, but, we kind of shocked the state when we played with Timpson that last game of the year. And, I can't remember. We lost them by 6 or 8. I can't remember. We scored the same amount of touchdowns, but they got us on 2-point conversions. And, that's kind of the big rivalry around here is Timpson. So hopefully we can give them an even better show this year.
And you talk about being a power football team. At the same time, you're out there playing 7-on-7, and for some people, those two don't go together. So talk a little bit about the value of playing 7-on-7 when that's not necessarily the style of football you're going to play in the fall.
Well, 7-on-7 for us, that's our 2-minute drill. So what our 2-minute offense is very successful, and mainly because people practice for the ground and pound under center stuff we do because we're so multiple and we get so many different formations. So what's simple for most people is lining up and just straight up 2x2 doubles. But when we do it, it's different because people don't practice against that when they play us. So we're very successful in it. Heck, we threw for 200 yards against Timpson just in our 2-minute offense last year. And they were the number 1 team in the state. So they were not worried about that. They play that all the time. They're worried about what we do, under center. So that's why 7-on-7 is valuable to us, is because that it's not all of our passing game, but it's a good mix up for us.
All right, now to change tempo a little bit here. Susan Elsa, Director of Athletics of UIL, has moved on to Nebraska. We now have a new Director of Athletics, Ray Zapata, from out of Cy-Fair. Not if, but I know you can pick up the phone and talk to Coach Zapata, but if you were to do that, what would you tell him the biggest challenge facing you as a coach in a small town athletics program are?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, every town is different and every place is different. So our biggest challenge is, I don't want to say hiring coaches because we hire good coaches, but I'm the second youngest coach on staff, and this is I'm going into my 4th year as head coach. The biggest challenge facing us is probably the larger schools, the 5As and the 6As, that it's really hard for us to hire young coaches. Which experience is important, but heck, man, last year. it's a lot tougher hiring people last year than it was this year. But last year I was trying to hire people, and I'm like, hey, give me the I called IT Texas. I said, give me the list of kids, coaches, kids that want to be coaches that don't have jobs yet. And they gave it to me, and I just started calling those guys. And they're like, hey, I'm gonna take this junior high job here. It's paying $60,000. Hey, I'm gonna take this junior high job here. It's paying 55 or blah 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 blah. And they're like, what can you pay me? And I'm like, 36. And that's probably the toughest thing. Now, older coaches with years we can pay, but it's really hard getting young coaches here, and it's even harder on the girl side. Which everybody talks about hiring girl coaches, and hiring girl coaches is extremely tough when you're trying to compete with larger school districts because it's just hard to hire those young women and young men. But that would be my answer, and I can give you an example. I called a guy that was a junior high coach and said, hey, you want to be a high school D-line coach? He goes, Coach, I aspire to be one. I said, all right, man. I said, and I started talking to him. He goes, well, how much can you pay me? And I think I could only pay him like 46. He goes, oh, well, I make 58 here, so I think I'm just going to stay here. So that would be what I tell them is, just, competing for younger coaches with those large school districts.
All right. So one more change of pace, just this kind of let's get to know Coach Alvarez just a little bit better. What would you say your number one guilty pleasure is?
That's a great question. Well, I would like to tell you it's spicy chips and food like that. Like I love those spicy cheddar chips. But I'll tell you what, my wife made some Oreo cake balls the other day, and I may have gained 10 pounds in 1 week.
All right, Coach. Well, thanks for your time today, and best of luck in the upcoming season.
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you very much. Appreciate you.